Hello, Cowboys fans! In today's video, we're going to analyze an intriguing question. Should the Cowboys follow the Raiders' example with Khalil Mack and consider a trade involving Micah Parsons? In 2018, the Raiders traded Mack to the Bears in a deal that shook the league and made Mack the highest-paid defender in the NFL. With Parsons about to enter his fourth year with the Cowboys and already being one of the league's top defenders, comparisons are inevitable. We'll explore the parallels between Mack and Parsons' situations, examine the potential consequences of a trade, and discuss whether the Cowboys should opt for a contract extension or seek a new destination for their defensive star. Stay tuned and leave your opinion in the comments about what would be the best decision for the future of the Cowboys. Why the Cowboys could follow the Khalil Mack trade plan with Micah Parsons. On September 1, 2018, the Raiders traded edge rusher Khalil Mack, the fifth overall pick in the 2014 draft, to the Bears for 2 first-round picks and change. The Bears promptly made Mack the highest-paid defender in the league, signing him to a record 6-year, $141 million extension. At the time of the trade, Mack had been with the Raiders for 4 years. Mack was a 3-time Pro Bowler and 2-time All-Pro. Mack recorded 40.5 sacks in 4 seasons, including 3 consecutive seasons with double-digit sacks. The Raiders had exercised the 5th-year option on Mack's contract and could have used a franchise tag on Mack in 2019. Mack sat out the entire offseason, missing the Raiders' voluntary offseason training program, the team's mandatory minicamp, and all of training camp. The Raiders traded Khalil Mack, a 2020 second-round pick, and a conditional 2020 fifth-round pick to the Bears for 2 first-round picks, 2019 and 2020, a 2019 sixth-round pick, and a 2020 third-round pick. Raiders general manager at the time, Reggie McKenzie, said the team tried to meet Mack's demands but couldn't. We all wanted, Gruden, myself, everyone in the organization, wanted Khalil to be a Raider. That's not an issue. We presented him with an offer and got that counterback and discussed it with him. And simply, what they were demanding, it just wasn't going to work at that time. It didn't work out in the end. We weren't close. We presented before the start of the league year. Khalil got a great deal, he said. Fast forward to 2024, Micah Parsons is entering his 4th year with the Cowboys. After 3 years, Parsons is a 3-time Pro Bowler and 2-time All-Pro. Parsons recorded 40.5 sacks in 3 seasons, including 3 consecutive seasons with double-digit sacks. The Cowboys exercised the 5th-year option on Parsons' contract and can use a franchise tag on Parsons in 2026. Stephen Jones said in the training camp press conference that Micah Parsons wants to become the highest-paid non-quarterback in football, which would be over 30. Parsons is in training with the Cowboys this year, so that's where the similarities with Mack end. But unless there's a contract extension, a holdout next year seems quite likely for a player who likes to say there's a business side to the game. And perhaps now is a good time for the Cowboys to explain how this deal can be for him and explain that he has 2 options. 1. Sign a contract extension with the Cowboys that makes him the highest-paid defender in the league, but with some significant concessions to the Cowboys in terms of contract length. 2. Be traded after the 2024 season to a team willing to shell out 2 first-round picks for the right to make Parsons the highest-paid defender in the league. Oh, and make sure to play at a DPOY level in 2024 for the Cowboys to secure that top-notch contract elsewhere. Ideally, the Cowboys want a 6-year extension, though they may be okay with 5, that kicks in after the 2024 season. This would allow the team to absorb part of the contract's cap impact in 2024 and then have 2 more years at the end to push the cap money with contract restructures in 2025 and 2026. Parsons gets a $35 million per year deal, can call himself the highest-paid player in the NFL for a few months maybe, and secures generational wealth for himself and his family. The alternative, of course, is being shipped out of Dallas in a trade to the highest bidder after the 2024 season. Which deal is the best deal, and for which party? It's hard to answer off the bat, but let's go back to the Khalil Mack trade. In Mack's 4 years in Oakland, they went 0-1 in the playoffs, and in his 4 years in Chicago, they went 0-2, but at least they made the playoffs twice. It's hard to say from afar, but Mack may not have been that missing piece for either team, although each team's record after Mack left is telling. The Raiders went 4-12 in the season after trading Mack, and the Bears went 3-14 in 2022 after trading Mack to the Chargers. And the 4 draft picks that Oakland got, they didn't amount to much either. Here's a look at the approximate value over 4 years for each pick and player involved in the trade. It looks like Chicago came out a bit ahead, though that AV of 67 isn't particularly great. Consider that Micah Parsons alone has an AV of 52 in just 3 years, while CeeDee Lamb has 53 in 4. The Raiders traded a generational talent in Khalil Mack because they couldn't or wouldn't pay him. The chances of drafting another generational talent like that, even with 2 first-round picks, aren't great. And finally, that's the question the Cowboys need to answer. 2 extra first-round picks look great on paper, but are they enough to replace a generational talent? What if you end up with a Taco Charlton and a Morris Claiborne for your efforts? You'd have lost a generational player and gained some cap space. But cap space doesn't win championships. Now it's your turn. Would you trade Parsons for 2 first-round picks after the 2024 season? So what do you think? Should the Cowboys follow the Raiders' example and consider a trade involving Micah Parsons? Or is it better to secure a contract extension and keep this generational talent in Dallas? Leave your opinion in the comments. We want to know what you think. Before we wrap up, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We're very close to reaching our goal of 1,000 subscribers, and we're counting on you to get there. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos, and share this content with other Cowboys fans. See you next time!